Without a rudder, you mean? The world is watching.
All right, see if we can make a comeback here.
John is going to show us how he can still win without a rudder. Nearing the first upwind mark rounding of the day, John started a minute or so late. He's sailing without a rudder, and he has sailed up into the fleet, which doesn't mean he is going to be successful, but it shows us something thus far, that he can get himself back into the race by being late and without a rudder. As boats, you okay, Kev? First boat is rounded, and that is Alex Sims. And John is pressing his point in fourth, and Rory in fifth, and we have a sixth starter here for the next race. First three boats around are all on starboard tack in various locations. Alex does not seem to have a lot of pressure. Steve has stepped out on him. See where this goes. Steve Schwartz, number 72, has thrown it down to the left. Alex is staying closer to the cone. Kevin Marks has lost a few boat lengths on Alex Sims. Steve Schwartz has tacked back over to port and is not laying the committee boat, and we'll see how this washes out. So here we have a cross and a big gain by Steve for having gone left, and Alex is staying with it, and $17. And it's closer with Steve, and 72. Kevin Marks working up, getting headed here. But he has 36. rudderless John Fallon is holding his own against Rory, and will finish well, it's what I'm thinking is that he will finish in pretty much the same relationship distance-wise as he began, but maybe he's losing a little bit here. Sails up to the boat. $16.
Thank you, Quentin.
In fifth place comes Rory. Number 8. Rory seems slow today. He does not have the quicks on this race anyway. This is race 2, and John went off the line first and went left far, and the others have the fleet, or at least the racers are kind of split 3 and 3, but John is still in position to round first. We're getting a little more breeze now, and it is from the north, maybe northeast, and we've got a sailboat race. And this picture right here is illustrative of the tactics section in this current issue of Sailing World, where making the most of that vulnerable position that is being the downwind boat, there is an art to it where dodging the wind shadow and the disturbance that flows around the boat to stern is one that involves some weaving to stay out of the wind shadow and away from the distortions that the boat creates on the weather side as well. So John and Kevin are equal in boat speed. John sailed through the shadow of the shack there and slowed down momentarily, but he has picked up speed and has, until this moment, been out of Kevin's wind shadow, but he's dodging that. And one of the things that Mike Ingham talks about in the article is going wide on the mark and then coming in at a hotter angle and more speed. So John has done that and has established the overlap here, or not the overlap, but he's the inside boat, and Kevin is on the outside and has effectively lost a boat length or 2 from where he was at his best. Now John rounds with Kevin about a half boat length behind. So Kevin did gain by coming from astern and attacking and continuing to attack. And I did not watch the other boats, sail downwind, so I don't have much to say about them other than they are 72 is third boat around, 17 is the fourth boat around, number 8 is fifth, and sixth boat will be so nearing the finish is John Fallon, and he is gaining distance on the others. But Alex Sims has sailed up into the fray, and he's really in contention for second right now just by sailing right through Kevin beneath. And Steve Schwartz now has overtaken Kevin in second. Let's see what Alex can do here. As boats near the finish, we have 16. And a penalty against 17 doing his turn. 72. Alex Sims staying clear of Kevin. 36. 44. Excuse me, 17. Number 8. $66. One minute to the start of race 3. Big snowflakes here. Breeze has increased to the predicted 5 knots. Snowflakes are big, so that indicates that it's not terribly cold, but it is very, very humid, as you can imagine. Everybody's staying below the line here. Last few seconds. Crowding the line today. All boats are off cleanly. Fallon on the inside. Alex Sims being squeezed by Kevin. Seems to have been lifted somewhat. But he's in a bit of a, now that John has split right options open up for Alex Sims and for Kevin beneath him. Well, Steve Schwartz does seem to be in a speed-making mode. Kevin Marks tags to the right. At the top of the course in this third race, there is some visual evidence to show that the ebbing current is having an effect on the boats. Alex Sims, around first, seemed to slow down quite a bit, but managed to get around the mark. So he either got headed or he was fighting a little bit of current. So we'll have to see if that is evident on these other boats. Sims has stepped out quite a bit. Again. Alex was among the boats that went left. John went right, and then came all the way across the course at the top. Tacked again into what looked to be a bit of a header. And on port tack, that would mean that he was getting a little more of a northeastward slant. But as you can see by where the course is set today, that the upwind mark is more in line with the docks, closer in line to the clubhouse than on other days where it blows out of the north, where the mark might be in the center or left of center of Wilson Cove. So the sense is that the northeast breeze is still alive here, and we'll go left later. At least that's the prediction as the day wears on. And we'll get more westward breeze later in the day, probably after sailing is done. Alex Sims seems to be stepping out on Steve Schwartz. And this is just data for my ongoing survey of the benefit of sailing with a pronounced heel to weather. Alex is sailing flat. There's no one around him, nothing affecting him. And Steve is, for all purposes, sailing in clear air as well, but is not gaining on Alex by heeling to weather. John Fallon has a less pronounced heel than Steve does, by a small degree. And he is not closing on Steve either. So, for what it's worth, that is a thumbnail survey. Now, on the other hand, Kevin Marks and Rory are heeled dramatically to weather, Kevin especially. I recall one time a season or two ago where I wasn't paying attention and I got that far over and I just kept going. Kevin Collins in 6th place. Alex Sims has rounded the downwind mark. Number 17 is staying between the finish and his immediate competition, Steve Schwartz. But Steve seems to have speed, but he is not gaining on Alex. Alex has some pressure there. His speed is just bumped up a little bit. Yes, so, and he's been lifted somewhat. So Steve is out on the wing, headed, should come back as soon as he can, but he might not see it the way I do. John Fallon has not gained on those two lead boats. Rounded third and is still there and has fallen back somewhat. That has fallen behind by multiple boat lengths. But the wind is shifting, and I sense that it is going right here. It's not a large degree, but looking at Alex right here would support that. And with Alex Sims taking for the finish. '17. Steve Schwartz took a hitch left, hoping to get some speed, and he is now slightly lifted, but he is in a closer tussle with John for second place. And it's looking better for John all the time as he closes in on starboard. And I think has the edge on Steve now, speed-wise and starboard tack. '16. '72. And Kevin Marks following up in fourth. So the order didn't change dramatically, but the magnitude of the place did. In Kevin's case, he lost two boats and distance. 36.
Did I start with those guys? Then it fell apart.
Number 8. Kevin Collins seems to be momentarily in the slows. Keep her going, Kevin. There you go. Number 66. Race 4 is about to begin. enough breeze that the guys can bluff downside of line and still get speed. Is over.
Good?
Yep. So this is race 4. Kevin Marks has restarted and is going right. There, now Kevin Marks he should be able to make something out of this position, that is. But he may need to stay on one tag long enough. Is out in a good position, but he's short tacking as well. So the wind on the water is shifting quite a bit. The angle of the committee shack here, the race shack, has tilted toward the east, which would suggest that there is more right breeze than there was when we began in race 1. And so that the lift is on the starboard tack. You can see with number 36 here on starboard tack, his angle on the mark is more favorable, although he's having trouble getting going. Seems that there's just not a lot of pressure behind this wind as it goes right. Number 8 has stepped out, and he's been headed, but he's going with it and just moving the boat. Today's not a day to pinch. So Kevy the boat is just stalled, and I think he's probably a little over trimmed. Rory just stepped out and walked away. And Rory is going to be 3rd at the upwind mark. John Fallon has tacked over to starboard and about to round. It's Fallon, Sims, Steve Schwartz is making a bid, has gotten between Rory and the mark, and Steve Schwartz is going to round third. Rory is trying to get there in fourth. Kevin Marks finally got a little bit of mojo there. And, oh, no, actually, I was thinking that 66 was 36. Kevin Marks is still on his way to the first mark. So in this fourth race, Kevin Marks he is sailing his throwout for the day, if there is such a thing. John Fallon is moving downwind. He is not sailing in the shadow of anyone above him. John is sailing, I think, by the lee, if the breeze is indeed shifting on the water to the extent. We're also getting a little wave action on the water, if you can see it there, that's coming from the right, which says to me that there's more pressure from the east. There's puffs on the water saying that too. So John is sailing by the lee, which can be fast. Alex Sims is working the boat downwind now Alex has moved well forward. John is well forward, and Alex seems to have picked up speed. Now, as the thinking goes, that the aft third of the boat is flat, and that produces a lot of friction, suction, if you will, and thus it is slow. So Alex is also on port jibe, which is more in tune with what the breeze is doing, and he seems to be closing on John somewhat again. Steve Schwartz is sailing a level boat, and I'll let better judges than me conclude what is happening with John as he steps away from Alex. John is sailing by the lee. The other two boats are not. Kevin Collins, number 66, is making his way downwind. And so we'll see. Kevin seems to be carrying a new breeze with him. And just as reference, here's the angle of the race shack on land versus when we began racing a little while ago. So the wind has gone right. The tide is still ebbing and will be until about 6 o'clock this evening. Kevin Marks is on port jibe and seems to have good speed, but he's got a lot to make up. Alex Sims has caught John Fallon at the downwind mark and tacked and gotten out ahead. He accelerated out of that tack much quicker than John has out of his. But John is, I think, pointing a little higher. But Alex has got speed, and as you can see in the picture, he's opening up. distance. Rory is third around the downwind mark. Steve Schwartz and Kevin Collins are going out to the right. Kevin Marks is really staging a dramatic return. His beat to the finish, I know, he is plotting a podium finish in this race, which will be just a crowd pleaser because he's just gonna shock everybody by finishing ahead. And now, given how the other races have proceeded, the boats going out to the left here have not necessarily done too well. That is to say, boats like Alex Sims, who's just about to be overtaken by John, going upwind, has stayed closer to the center. But now Fallon picked up on him and now has a safe leeward and is accelerating out to leeward of Alex. But we'll see how that works out. Alex Sims is not to be counted out in this situation. Race has been going 12 and a half minutes now. John has pulled out a boat length ahead of Alex, and they're both in a tight duel here, with Steve Schwartz coming into the mix suddenly. And Alex tacks and is actually faster at this moment than John is. Steve's trying to gain a place here. 17! 16! We'll run it on the videotape. But I was behind the flag here, so it is definitely a reasonable question. Number 8 coming up. Sail number 66 has got some speed here. He's gonna finish this race nicely. 66! And finally, but not yet, 36! An excruciating finish by Kevin Marks at the start of race 6. The breeze has decidedly gone right. And start for everybody. wind. I'm wondering if, as the breeze goes right here, if if it's steady enough for us to make a change for next race with the weather mark and the pin. So Alex Sims, as the wind seems to go right, he has gone left. And we'll see. But being lifted down in that area would only mean that he is headed coming the other way. Kevin Marks is throwing it down here, going well off to the right. You think that's right? Yes. So I think it's it's gone 25 degrees. So next race we just sort of work it over, move the upwind mark a little bit. But I think the pin will need to change too. But we don't want to change that now. We're in the middle of a race. Is John Fallon, Kevin Marks, Rory in number 8, Alex Sims, Steve in 72, in 5th, and Kevin Collins, number 66, in 6th. Now you can see from where Kevin is going, he is running pretty much downwind in that northeaster slant. And now he is jibed over. Now I was describing Alex Sims a moment ago and I said he just jibed over. Kevin Marks is in the lead. He is sailing into John's bad air though. And I'm wondering how that looks to him from where he is, because it looks as though he could be disadvantaged by John. He's got boat speed. He's not dead in the water, but seems to be sliding sideways and moving up underneath Fallon and affected more by his wind shadow. Now off in the freshening breeze from the east, we have Steve Schwartz overtaking this pair on the inside, making much better speed and direction to the mark, downwind mark that is. So this will become a wind shadow effect or turbulence problem for everybody. Particularly steep if he gets too far out ahead and has to run down to the mark. Fallon has slipped through. Marks is going to slow him down. look for John Fallon to jibe here momentarily. There he goes. Steve jives as well. He's got the inside, but he is going to have a double wind shadow to sail through in order to gain on these two guys. But as Mike Ingham said, by sailing downwind, you can minimize the effect, and Steve did that. Stuck his bow down a little bit. "17 and 8 have closed in this building breeze. That is close distance on the lead 3. So the boat order is roughly the same. Yes, I think it is the same as it was at the top mark, but the boats are about the same distance apart. So they look spread out, but they're now back together. Number 66 is making his way down toward the leeward mark. Fallon is rounded in third and tacks to the left. Rory Cumming following. '72 has a nice advantage. Now Alex Sims is going out to the right of this beat. So he is sailing into the header. And we'll see if he can cash in on that when he comes back this way. Meanwhile, the action does seem to be over on this right side of the course. Alex is really separating himself from the others. John sails through and has to duck Kevin Marks. 72 covers. And you'll see Alex Sims, 17 on starboard, coming in from the right side of the beat and closing with Steve Schwartz, who's going to stay between him and the mark, while John Fallon Kevin Marks could get up here if he doesn't pinch too much. Now Kevin is going to have to conceivably Kevin Marks can capitalize on this, but he's still got to contend with John. And we're back on the line, and it is $72.16. $36.17. Number 8. That was a good race and fun to watch. Kevin Collins streaking in from the right side of the beat. He has protected the right side. He is coming to the start shack, the finish shack, with boat speed and determination. '66. My pleasure. I'm here to serve. Now the pen, we know, needs to be moved, but we just can't do it now. But we're minute and a half, and or that's 15 seconds. We have a little fresher breeze here. It has settled in and continues to go right. So that was a clean start. Alex Sims is moving up on John, forcing him to tack here. Kevin Marks is trying to get some speed. So, from where I stand, we're pointing directly at the upwind mark. John has just crossed that line. So, for those viewing at home, the upwind mark is off South Dock, directly behind 72. So Kevin Marks is going out to the left, and he's still trying to squeeze some angle. Maybe he squeezed too much. There you go. And there's an area of fresher breeze that Kevin is just sailing into now. Now, look at how far John has gone to the right at this point. So we'll see how that works out. Kevin is footing nicely. He's finally got some boat speed, but it's just a funny angle that he doesn't have on the mark. That's a little bit better. So John Fallon has just tacked left. Steve Schwartz is still hanging out there to the right. And I think what's happening here is that there's some turbulence on the water because Kevin is steering. Now he is lifted toward the mark. Alex Sims is left. So we've got today's top scoring boats are on opposite sides of the course. And John is short tacking up the right side, and Alex is having to do the same. So it both looks like, and maybe is in reality, a lot of turbulence off the land here. That is eddies and wind is just upset by those buildings over there. Also, the tide is dropping, so there's effectively more land blocking the breeze than there was earlier in the day when we had more water in the cove. So with the increased amount of land, there's going to be more disturbance and blocking of the wind. It's as if that a 3-foot cliff has just emerged in front of everybody. Now Alex, who had been way out on the left, seemingly really out of the race, is right up. He may be the leader at the moment, but there's just suddenly a drop in pressure over there. And he could just as easily be lifted here as anything. Patience is a premium. John Fallon is sailing down to the mark. He's driving rather than pinching toward it. He's got both a fickle breeze and an ebbing tide against him. And he has made it around the mark despite that. And Alex is taking a little more measured approach. He's not looking as impatient as he was before. But he is going out far to the right, seeing that the current is calling the shots right now. So there is not a lot of pressure up under that growing cliff. All boats are around. Almost. Steve Schwartz is the last one around. No, that's incorrect. It will be Kevin Collins will be the last one around. Steve just rounded. John Fallon is ghosting downwind here. So while on the water, there does seem to be some breeze. It is swinging more to the right, at least as I see it on the water. So it's coming more out of the eastward direction. But the illusion that it's still in that northeast direction may be created by the current. I don't know. But the waves on the water and the boats themselves, as they come downwind, indicate to me that the breeze has gone further to the right. Now John seems to have a little steadier, more pressure in the breeze that he has. He's running downwind, more downwind, which for him would be to the right. Downwind mark is, look at the tip of Bell Island, you'll see it just to the left. So as the boats come down, it is really telling the story that the breeze is continuing to clock into the east. We'll see if Kevin Marks slows down as he sails into the blanket of the finish shack here.
Keep talking. Keep talking. Do not shut up. Direct it toward me, please.
There we go. All right. He didn't slow down that much. Steve Schwartz he's working on his strategy right now to overtake the lead. There is more east breeze coming, but I think it is not touched down quite as much. Let's look at the flag here. Yeah, that's starting to, yep. Now the start shack is rotating a little bit more to the right. So that breeze is taking effect on the water. I guess one of the things that I was confused about is why it wasn't more pronounced on the water. I could see it, but the boats weren't moving along. Anyway, now it seems to have settled down more into the east, toward the east, not fully east. Looking at Manresa and the breeze between us and that building does seem to be touching down onto the water. John Fallon is staying inside the cone. He's not going out anywhere. He doesn't really need to. He's got the lead. Alex is conceivably, there he goes, he taxed. And that is what I was thinking he could or should do. Boats coming up on this beat are staying mostly inside the cone, so to speak. They're not getting too far out on a wing. Yeah, there is more right in the breeze. Number 16 approaching the finish. 16. Alex. $17. Steve Schwartz is looking much better. He actually has picked up 2 places. We'll see if he can convert that at the finish. Kevin Marks tacking under Rory's bow. So Steve is he's got pressure, he's got boat speed, he's got a decent angle. And he has a path to the finish. 72. $36. 8. $66 still on the course. Breeze at the top mark seems to be, is it spotty? You guys just...
The wind is spotty on the way to it.
Yeah.
So different boats taking different approaches.
Yeah. I think as the tide goes out, actually, we get effectively a higher cliff over there. It's 3 to 4 feet higher than it was in the first race. So that has a big effect on the breeze, I think. After this finisher win, if we can move that pin end upwind 2 boat lengths, I think that'll be good. You can see on Kevin Collins, 66, the effect of the breeze having gone right.
You're like, what is right? That's good.
66. in line with the that white mooring float. So if you come up, 1, 2, 3, drop there, please. Thank you. Clean start of race 8. So in the first beat of this last race, John Fallon went way right into what appears to be more pressure. He and Alex Sims were pretty close together. John got the breeze first, stepped out ahead. Alex is now closing that gap. And Steve Schwartz went left and just hung patiently onto that side of the course, and when tacking across has found himself, we'll say 3, 4 boat lengths ahead of John and Alex. Alex has a better angle on the mark than John has. John has to tack in order to get up to a ley line. Just did that in a way to throw an eddy up at Alex. But Steve Schwartz is first around. Fallon is around, Sims is around. Marks is next, coming up to it. Very slowly, there's not a lot of pressure. Rory in sail number 8 is just tacking now. He is going... He was headed. And now he has a little bit better angle on the mark. But it's slow going. So in this last race, they run to the bottom mark. Includes Roy Cumming, the man with a smile, always a smile. And as cold as it looks and as bleak as it looks, it's really only half of how it feels. Stay tuned for a finish. Alex Sims has a sizable lead, but the breeze is kind of soft here. And from the left, some of these boats that had been trailing suddenly look to be in pretty strong contention. John is out to the left. Alex rolls tack and defends his position well here. Comes up. So we have Alex Sims. 17! $72! John Fallon really hiked hard there. 16!
Thank you, Glenn. Pitch out those tacks, get it. Boat handling today is terrible. I almost tipped over for you pitch. So
36! We have a little last minute breeze here.
nice one, Alex. That was fast run, man. Woo.
Number 8.
Is that it, bud? I think it's 2, but it's 3.
Number 66. Bring it home.